So how would you feel if you were going to buy the house of your dreams? You got your money all ready and you fire it off to the title company. You get in there to sign the documents and the money never got there. Well, this is a problem that is plaguing the real estate industry. It's plaguing banking in general. And there doesn't seem to be any type of striving to fix this, and it scares me absolutely to death. This is a problem that cost the United States $416 million in 2022, and I'm sure the numbers are double that by now. It is a really bad problem. I've personally seen this happen time and time again as a real estate agent, as somebody in the real estate community, and for myself, when I go to buy an investment property or a house that I just want to live in, it scares me to death to go into the bank and say, hey, I would like to wire $300,000 to this little thing on a document here. And you have no real way to actually authenticate it. Don't believe anything of what these people have to say. I walked into the bank not too long ago, walked into Navy Federal actually. I was like, I want to send this money. Can you help me do the wiring instructions? And they literally just handed me a sheet of paper and was like, there you go. I was like, no. I want you to help me key this in and have a professional, actually make sure my money gets there. And they're like, no, we don't do that. And I realized real quick, the bank does not want responsibility to where this money is going to go. And when you fire it off, you really have no idea where it actually went. And you wait, and hopefully 45 minutes later, the money gets there and they report that the funds have settled and you can have your keys. Well, let's talk about how this can go wrong, okay? Not too long ago, I watched somebody send, $300,000 or so to a title company, and it never got there. And this was not my deal. This was a friend's deal. And everybody panicked. Somebody's life savings had just disappeared into the ether. With the idea of Fed now, it's gotten even faster. And a lot of times there's no way you can get the money back. With an ACH, there is a hang time on the money going out. It's like 3 to 5 days that usually a bank can stop it, kind of pull it back if there's fraud or whatever. But with the wire and Fed now, man, it is almost instantaneous and it's gone. And I really wished politicians would figure out a fast way of sending and receiving money. And with speed, you get a whole different set of problems, especially when people's accounts get hacked and money gets shot all over the place, because banks are relying on insurance now to actually keep your bank account safe. What I realized when I got hacked was your bank account is not safe. And there's a lot of bank accounts out there that have been hacked. They call them zombie accounts. The people don't even know their own bank account has been hacked because they never change their password. And these scammers will sit there and they will wait until it's time for them to use your account for bad purposes, and they will just wash the money through your account. You need to change your bank account password on the regular to keep this from happening, because I bet half the people out there don't even know they've already been hacked. And I learned that through when we got hacked. They were moving money from our account to another person's account that had been hacked and they didn't even know it. If you watched my video yesterday, my goal is to educate everybody on how not to fall for these problems, how to protect yourself, protect your friends, your family, and so you can spread this message so it won't happen to you. It's the only way I really know how to keep this fraud from constantly happening, because the politicians won't fix it, and every time I tell somebody about it, they act like I'm crazy. But the ways to protect yourself on this is when you go to actually buy a property, one, never use a title company that's way far away. If you do, you got to follow a set of guidelines. One, it's best to use a local title company where you can physically go in there and actually ask for the information. For me, I like to go in and get a piece of paper from the person in the title company with the wiring instructions. Now, you also got to ask yourself this. There's going to be a number at the bottom of those wiring instructions, and they're going to say, call before wiring. Well, you also got to make sure the number on the bottom of the wiring instructions is actually the person you want to talk to. A lot of times fraudsters will put that number in the bottom of the wiring instructions. So when you call to authenticate, well, you're basically authenticating it with the fraudster. When you want to do this, you want to split this up 2 or 3 parties deep. Okay, so I get my wiring instructions physically from the title company itself. I go to the bank. When I sit down at the bank, I will Google the title company. I will get a third-party phone number, and I will call that number and then get that number to authenticate my wiring instructions outside of the wiring instructions themselves. Because the problem is you don't know if that person at the title company can be trusted. You don't know if the person at the, especially there's been many tellers at banks where they were given fraudulent information out because their boyfriend was the scammer. And so you got to be careful of that. When you see these distant title companies, you got to make sure they're real. You got to make sure they're authentic, because you're going to be wiring a lot of money, either your earnest money or your down payment or the entire sum of the property. And you got to make sure you check these boxes. Let's put some terms on this. This is a $416 million problem for the US, and probably even worse nationally, internationally. $416 million a year gets scammed from people just trying to buy homes, just trying to buy cars, just trying to get money from place to place. And once it's sent off, it's gone. A lot of times these scammers are in other countries. They are outside the jurisdiction of most law enforcement. They know that. And they'll start bouncing the money around, or they'll spend it and there's no way to get it back. The one I was telling you about, the FBI actually caught up to him and he had spent the money. And that's usually how this rolls. Title companies, they have some insurance, okay? But you think you're going to sue a title company that's basically a law firm? Good luck with that. You're going to spend so much money trying to fight a lawyer and prove that they were actually at fault. I decided to shoot this video out here at the park in Pensacola, right here across from Hub Stacy's. Isn't this place beautiful? That's really good place to come hang out, chill. Got Lucy's in the Square restaurant there, Hub Stacy's right there, and sushi right there. I think I've actually made a video on both of those. But me and Samantha actually did our wedding photos right here. But when we met, if you watch that video, this was covered in down trees and leaves all the way up to my knees. Very, very interesting time, because it's all got hit by Hurricane Sally. Knocked all kinds of trees down here. The other way is realtor imposter syndrome, or title company imposter syndrome. See, these guys can spoof the contact information of the title company, title agent, the real estate agent, or you'll even, you will see a call coming from the title company. It will look just like them, and then they will give you the information it's not really. I actually saw them spoof a bank's phone number to me while my wife was on the phone, and I realized they're way savvier than you give them credit. They're doing this with malicious malware. They're doing this where they've already hacked the title company's email, or they've already hacked the real estate agent's email. First of all, your real estate agent should not be sending you wiring instructions. Most real estate agents that are classically trained now are using all kinds of disclosures about wire fraud. For me, I will never send somebody wiring instructions. That is the title company's game. And so make sure that title company's email is not hacked. I've seen this a couple times lately. Title company's email had been hacked. They send the wiring instructions, okay? They know, they've probably already seen the contract come through because the email is hacked. They know in 30 days the wiring instructions are going to be coming through. They front run the wiring instructions to the person that's going to be wiring the money, the buyer. And then it's game on. So they send fake wiring instructions. Most people never call to confirm. They fire the wire off. It goes to some bank that they have access to. They move the funds and it's gone. Please don't fall for this. One, if your real estate agent has a Gmail account, fire them, okay? If they're sending you everything, all the documents, the emails from a Gmail account or just a generic email, okay, you're setting yourself up for some bad situations. I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for that. But I'm just telling you that you're sending some serious personal information over an email that Gmail is not safe. Just ask a lot of crypto guys that stored their passwords in Gmail accounts and they no longer have their crypto. So my point is, banks know there's a problem. They just pay the insurance and they just go on about the business. It's easier to insure the money than to actually solve the problem. And that's the problem with our financial institutions, is they know there's a problem and it's such a big problem that they just hope that they can control it. And meanwhile, people's life savings are at the fingertips of all these problems, these international crooks and thieves and shakedown artists, like you saw in my video yesterday, where they can shake down your property's title just through the sluggishness of our system that we know needs to be fixed. I mean, it should not take, 6 months to do a quiet title action like it on a small little piece of property. There's no way it should take that long. But as I was saying, when you go to wire that money, make sure that you've checked the wiring instructions, the document the wiring instructions are on. If it's digital, like I said, same steps. You're going to look at the bottom. You're going to see who is on the bottom of it for calling and confirming. Now, go find a secondary phone number on the internet, and they can produce fake websites. But a lot of times that takes a lot of head start. I encountered one the other day on the video I talked about wholesaler fraud. That one was, I'm sure, a fake website just to give them legitimacy. But when you look at the bottom, get a third-party number to the title company, call that number until you can authenticate the same numbers. You can do it 2 ways, do it both ways. Better safe than sorry. If you fire that money off and somebody has not confirmed it within 4 or 5 hours, of course, if it's after like 3 or 4 o'clock, probably not going to see it. But if it's early in the day and somebody hasn't told you it's already settled yet, you just start thinking about it. And if within a day it hasn't showed up, you better start calling the bank, you better start calling the title company, and you better start calling the FBI. Hashtag not a professional in finance, hashtag I'm not a lawyer, I'm not any of this stuff. I'm just telling you my opinions on what I've seen. Consult your own professionals for that. That's my disclaimer. But these are really the steps to be careful about this. I had nobody to teach me this stuff. I had to do it on my own. And that was not the right answer. Like, you need a mentor when you're firing off large sums. The largest amount of money I've seen, around here fire off is $6 million, and I would be scared to death to hit that in one keystroke. So you need to do some heavy studying on how to do this. I feel terrible that we have to do this in today's society. I would much rather like to take a cashier's check from my bank, walk into a title company in front of a camera, show them my ID, show them a bank statement, have them call the bank and authenticate the check, and then have it processed. And it's me to you. You know who I am. You know where I'm going. I understand that you can't really do that internationally at a high volume. But for a lot of these deals, I hope a title company would let you do that. I mean, you could even call around until you find a title company that will do that. I have a title company that lets me do that because they know me and they see me do deals, and I can prove I'm worth it. Because sometimes they get caught holding the bag on a bad check. I get that. But it's way safer than wiring money. This is a huge problem. Comment down below if this has happened to you and your thoughts on it and how to fix it. Do you have a code system you do with the bank to make sure that it's authenticated? Because right now they can AI can take your voice and they can call the bank and it'll sound just like you, and it's wild. Remember the video I made about our bank getting hacked? What they basically did is they convinced the bank they were me and Samantha. And don't think that they can't do that. There's so much free-floating information about you out there that they can do this if they want to. Depends on how sophisticated of an attacker it is. But if you happen to be buying or selling real estate on the Gulf Coast of Florida or Alabama, I'd be happy to help you. And if I can't do it, I will find somebody that can. I deal with this stuff all day long. These are problems as somebody that's, does a lot of deals, you're going to encounter, and you're trying to help other people not encounter these problems. And, you need to check the block, especially if you're hiring a professional and they don't know this stuff and you see they don't know this stuff. Find another person that does know this stuff, because this is the stuff that will cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm out of here. On to the next video.